success, excellence, and motivation. Always paycheck.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Great Employees Matter, the podcast that focuses on helping employees move themselves from average to great and works with employers to teach them how to nurture, advance, take care of, recognize, and appreciate their most valuable asset, their employees. Today, we have another great podcast. It's going to be just a little bit different, as they all are. Because we are going to interview a young man named Edwin Chacon, who spent a good number of years working in the corporate environment as a corporate manager, and then made the transition to entrepreneurship. So he's going to have an interesting story. We haven't talked to him yet, as you know, about his journey. We'll find out about his journey and what he learned from it and why he was such a great employee and what tips of advice and gems that he can drop on us to teach us how to become great employees. So with that, let me turn it back over to Kobe, and he'll bring us into the show.
Welcome, everybody. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share all the content that we do here on Great Employees Matter. As you know, we're building, we're growing. We got some great things in the works. We got some books coming. We got some authors coming. We got great things happening. So stay in touch. Stay with us. With that, I just want to say welcome, Edwin. It's great to have you on the show today. And my job is to kind of introduce who you are and bring your story out as to how you got where we are today. So I want to start by asking you, are you a Vegas native?
I am not a Vegas native. I moved to Vegas 3 years ago. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
Oh, okay. 3 years ago. That's awesome. We're probably newlyweds to Vegas because I'm in the same boat. I've only been here just right after COVID is when I came to Vegas. So They I think they like me. So, but anyway, Vegas can be kind of crazy. But anyway, so what brought you to Vegas?
I think looking for new opportunities. My wife moved to Vegas 4 years ago, so I was also following her a little bit. But we are learning about the city. We're finding opportunities in the city. This is an amazing city. People are great. And the city continues growing, which is also exciting. And when something is growing, you always want to be part of it.
Absolutely. Now, tell me a little bit about where you came from. Where are you from?
Originally from Costa Rica, born and raised in Costa Rica. Lived there for 37 years of my life, and then had the opportunity to be relocated from Costa Rica to New Mexico here in the United States to work on a very exciting project that I'm sure we're going to go into details in a little bit. But then, we moved to New Mexico, Rio Rancho, more specific, and we lived there for 7 years. And then my wife and I decided to transition from Rio Rancho to Las Vegas.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your work history. I know you used to work for HP at a high level, and you now are an entrepreneur. So tell me a little bit about that journey and what struck it.
Of course. Back in 2005, my wife and I went back to Costa Rica from 2 years of working for Carnival Cruise Lines. So we were looking for jobs, and then the opportunity came to work for HP. They were looking for customer service representatives to provide technical support for customers in the United States. So we took the opportunity to use a little bit of our English, our brand new English that we were learning with the cruises. So we applied, we got the jobs, and we started as a frontline agents providing tech support for, in my case, for Macintosh users with HP computers. Amazing experience, great company. Started learning myself about all the technicalities, all about the career paths and everything that HP has to offer, and made my way up to a team lead position, and then supervisor position, and then manager level 1 position. And then a few years later, the opportunity came, and my manager, Paul, in that time said, hey, we have an amazing project going on in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. We're opening a brand new facility, and we're expanding the team in Rio Rancho. We would like you to be part of the project. So HP provided that opportunity. So we moved, me, my wife, and our 2 boys. We have 2 twin boys. And we moved to Rio Rancho, started the team in Rio Rancho. amazing experience. We started with 8 people in Rio Rancho, and then we grew the business, and I ended up probably managing, I would say, almost 200 people um, with some peers, managers, but I was overseeing the entire organization mostly. And it was a great experience, great learning, lots of learning opportunities for me and my people. When you have an opportunity and an expansion that is going so quickly like that, there are so many things that you need to figure out on the way. You need to learn on the fly, and that was probably one of the biggest challenges. Um, Everything was so good, everything was so positive, and the experience to work with people and to teach people, to help people grow, to help people find their own career paths was probably one of the best things for the entire opportunity. And as the podcast name is Great Employees Matter, that's something that I always try to um, provide to them. When I have people under me, one of my missions was to help the person grow. And when I say grow, I'm not just talking about career wise, I'm also including the human part of the person, because we are humans, we are people, we are fathers, we're mothers, we're sisters, we're husbands, we're wives, we are sons or daughters. So some employers, some managers forget about that piece, and they just want the production part of the employee. But we need to always remember that we are a very cohesive, or we are a very complete piece of the puzzle that we need to consider. So after my career in HP, we had the opportunity to move to Vegas, and I decided to explore something completely brand new, challenge my status quo, challenge myself, and reinvent myself. After being an employee for almost 17 years, I decided to be my own boss, to start something from scratch. my wife, uh, my wife and I were talking, and there was an opportunity to buy a handyman business, and I decided to not buy that handyman business. I decided to start my own handyman brand.
I gotta interrupt you real quick. And the only reason why I'm interrupting you because I'm excited.
That's good. That's good.
I'm only excited because you're the first guest that's been just talking, and I'm only interrupting just to tell you you're doing a wonderful job, because you're answering all of my questions just by talking. And I'm going, wow, I'm checking this off. Okay, I don't need to ask him that. I'm checking this off. And then my absolute next question I was going to ask you is, what was the exact moment you realized I'm building my own thing now? And you just kind of went right into it. So I just want to say, fantastic journey, fantastic job. And you're really helping us with the 80-20 rule. It's more like 90-10, and we love it. So yeah, I'm going to pass it to Jimmy.
Yeah, I would like to ask a little bit. I mean, the same thing happened. I had a list of questions. You've already answered like 3 of them. And so now I have 10 more based on what you said. And so I'd like to go back and let's visit some history. So I was intrigued by your comment that you had worked for the Carnival Cruise Lines, because I've been on Carnival twice. My wife and I enjoy cruising.
Okay.
And so I want to ask a little bit about that. But let's go back to your childhood. What in your childhood do you think contributed to your work ethic? Because I can tell you have a very strong work ethic, and I'm sure you surrounded yourself, or you developed your employees so that they had that strong work ethic too. So tell me about, was there something in your childhood? Was it your parents? Did you have a mentor? What about it that created the work ethic that you have?
That's a great question, Jimmy. Going back to my childhood, my parent was always a self-employed, and we were not a wealthy people. We were not a wealthy family. We needed to work really hard for everything we wanted to have. And I remember the high school season, or the school season in Costa Rica, the school season year in Costa Rica is different from United States. So you end up the school year around November in that time. So when you're a kid, you're probably 6, 7, maybe 8, you start thinking about Christmas presents, about the final party, the ending of the school year, and they throw a big party. You always want to wear the latest and greatest tennis shoes and t-shirts and everything. We didn't have time. We didn't have money for that. So my mom used to tell me, if you want to wear brand new tennis shoes, you need to go with your dad. You need to work for them. You need to earn the money. My dad used to be a door-to-door salesperson. So he started taking me just to shadow him when I was probably 6. And he used to sell furniture in that time. When I say furniture, is small pieces of furniture like mirrors or pieces of art and all those type of things. And I was just carrying something, following him, and he was knocking on doors, introducing himself, saying hi to the person in the house, and then establishing this conversation. And then at some point, he was pitching whatever we were carrying with us to sell that product to the customer. So I learned from him how to connect with people. I learned from him that you need to work hard every day to put food on the table to accomplish your goals. Same with my mom. Even though she was a stay-at-home mom, she was always pushing me and my brothers and my family to do what it takes to follow your dreams. So I learned to connect to people. I learned to not be shy, to talk to everybody for anything and everything. And I consider myself a very outspoken person. I'm not a shy person at all. And then high school happened, and then college happened. Or let's take a step back. College was supposed to happen. But again, poor family, trying to make a living. I was told, we don't have budget for you to go to college. So what we need you to do is just start working and support the house. So I started doing that. And then I met Ginger, and then we went to the cruises. We had an opportunity to go and work for Carnival. At the same time, we were having the babies, our 2 twin boys. And it was a tough decision in the moment. And I spoke to my mom and said, hey, Ginger and I have this opportunity with Carnival, but we need to travel. Will you be willing to take care of our boys for some time so we can go make some money, come back and try to get our foot in the ground, right? And start doing our own thing. She said yes. She said, go, make some money, explore, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to take care of your boys. So she did that. And every day in my head was, we are here working away from home for our kids because we have a mission. We want to take care of our kids, and we need to make our careers, and we need to establish our own family. That was Ginger and I, Ginger, my wife. So the work ethic piece has always been present because we knew if we failed, the entire family was going to fail. So that's something that is very embedded in our family, not just me. I will say in our entire family, including my wife and in my 2 boys. I can see that happening nowadays, which is amazing. But at the same time, we were always thinking, what can we do next? What's going to be the next step? How can we continue growing? How can we continue building our quote-unquote legacy for our family, for our 2 boys? So the work ethic is something really, really strong in our family. And of course, as humans, Jimmy, we are humans. We make mistakes. And sometimes we need to learn. We need to relearn. We need to get a refresher on something. But I think every single day of our lives, that's something we keep in mind. You need to wake up. You need to go to work. You need to do the right thing. You need to take care of yourself, your family, your customers, because the way that I see it also is it's a big community. It's not just our family. It's everybody out there that is part of our family. It's part of our community. It's part of our ecosystem, if that makes sense, that we need to take care of each other. So right now, being an entrepreneur, being my own boss, trying to build a brand and a business that I want to grow, taking care of customers is a very key and fundamental piece of this entire puzzle that I'm trying to build or put together. I like talking. I like connecting with people. I like speaking. Probably, please tell me when I'm speaking too much. But connecting with people is something that I enjoy the most about my new job, my new challenge right now, going to houses, and the person is telling me, well, I need to repair this, I need to repair that. Let me show you. Let's go to the bathroom or to the backyard. Let me show you what I need you to do.
Well, I love that history, and I love the fact that one lesson that we all can learn from this is that oftentimes work ethic is driven by necessity, right? And in your situation, because you were taking care of your extended family, it was driven by necessity, and that continued on to after you had your boys, and you understand that it took the family, right? It took the village to put you in a position. I suspect that you probably still help out your family now.
Yeah.
And that's a reflection, I believe, of our cultures, right? In the Latin culture and the Asian culture, we're very tied to that extended family and respecting our elders and doing whatever we can to help them because we appreciate what they did for us, right? They brought us into this world and gave us the opportunity just by giving us life, right? So I respect that. Before I go into further stuff, Lloyd, you want to jump in and share some thoughts?
Yeah, I actually have one question and one comment, if I might. And the comment is going to be a career change, so just get ready for that. But the question is, you're such a soft-spoken, quiet person, and the wisdom just comes through. In your managing of all those employees and starting it off, how did you convey anger or the need for correction or what happened when the employees were just screwing up?
That's an amazing question. And then, of course, being a manager, that happens a lot, and that happens super often. I think we need to understand a couple things. People are going to make mistakes, okay? And that's exactly what they are. It's a mistake. I don't recall an employee doing something on purpose, something to affect the company or the department or the team in a negative way on purpose. Mistakes happen. And we need to understand the reason for the mistake. We need to correct the root cause. Most of the time, it's just a training opportunity. And we retrain the person, we coach the person, we mentor the person. We provided the tools that the person was needing at the moment so the person can be successful. I can also share that I will say probably 95% of the times, maybe more than 95% of the times, when I was talking to those persons after they made a mistake and we needed to do the root cause analysis, understand what happened, to provide the feedback or the coaching to the person, I can really feel, I can see the frustration or a little bit of guilt feeling from the person. And that was telling me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It was my mistake. I'm scared. I don't want to get in trouble. That's what people think most of the time. When you are in a leadership position, it is fundamental that you build trust with the person, but you also make the person feel safe so they can correct those mistakes, they can learn from that opportunity, and they can continue growing. When you understand that and you apply those steps and you observe the person going through the process, it's so beautiful to see the end result and the person growing and the person building their own career path. And then the person, and I had many of those examples, person coming to me one day saying, hey, I need to talk to you. Well, what's happening? I think I'm going to apply to this job. Within the company, within the organization sometimes. And it's so great because they are looking for themselves. They are using all the knowledge that they have been getting or gathering from being within my team, within my people, within my organization, to continue now for their own personal growth path. It is so good. But going back to the question, it's just understanding what happened, how we can correct it, how we can partner to avoid that situation, because probably some customer is getting affected. And then we can correct and we can improve. And maybe there is an learning opportunity that happened with that one person, but that little mistake actually discovers something bigger that we can use to retrain the entire department, or we can correct the process, or as it happened many times, we can correct even a tool. And we had HP at that point. We had a great partnership with Microsoft, and in many of those situations, we use them to talk to Microsoft and say, "Hey, we discovered this little glitch on the tool. It's giving us this headache. How can we partner and correct it for our customers?" So it was not even an employee's fault. Sometimes understanding what happened and why it happened was causing improvements in so many areas. But the secret is understand, talk to the person, ask the right questions, listen to the person, what the person is trying to tell you. Because again, sometimes the person is very scared to talk to the customer, to the manager, and say, "Hey, I made a mistake, I made a boo-boo, and this is what's happening." You need to open that moment or enable the person to feel free to speak up, to feel free to share what's going on in their heads. And sometimes the person is going through something personal, and that also causes mistakes. If the person is going through something personal, we as leaders, we need to make sure that the person is also able to share and give us the opportunity to provide the support that the person is looking for. The person is sometimes even craving in silence, because they're kind of afraid sometimes to go to the manager and say, "Hey, I'm going through this situation in my house."
How about that response, Lloyd?
That was incredible. But now you're stuck with my career change. And after listening to you speak, you are an excellent handyman, and I'm sure that is going well for you. However, if you ever want to change careers, I'm going to recommend voiceover actor. Because if I looked and sounded like you did, I would not have had to ask my wife 20 times to marry me. Guys, he has the perfect radio voice. It's the voiceover actor, and I'm going to tell you that you should look into it. It's wonderful to meet you. It's great to listen to your work ethic, and I pass it back to my partners.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to come in and say he's right. You do have a great voice. It's easy to listen to you. You're probably one of our easiest guests, right? We love guests like this because you're able to articulate your side of the story without us having to pull it out. So it's incredible. But Jimmy and Lloyd, they know me. I still have questions, and I'm trying to find questions wrapped in here that you haven't solved already, because you're very good at articulating, which we'll talk about off show. But what's the soft skill you think employees underestimate that actually drives promotions, right? You work with a lot of employees and a lot of people. And one of the things that I like to think about when I'm trying to bring on talent or find people is I'm looking for the person who's really not trying to promote, but has the skill sets to do it. Do you know any of those soft skills?
I will say that the one that comes to my mind right now is asking questions. People underestimate the power of asking the right question, the right moment to the right person. Something that I think I was very good at during my time at HP, and even right now with my customers, is I ask questions. I ask as many questions as I need to ask so I can understand what I'm trying to accomplish, what the customer is trying to accomplish, what my manager is trying to accomplish, what my organization is trying to accomplish. If you are in a staff meeting and you are part of the staff, you're probably still not in a leadership position. So your job sometimes or most of the time is listening the information that your leadership team is trying to provide to you. It is fundamental that you really, really understand what is the ultimate goal, what is the vision that the leadership is trying to share. Sometimes leadership, they have very tight agendas and they have only 30 minutes, 45 minutes to run a staff meeting. And they just go there and they provide a bunch of information. And they sometimes ask, do you guys understand? Everybody's going to say yes. But I can say probably 80% of the people didn't really understand what they were trying to say, what they were trying to communicate. So asking for those specific questions so you can understand what you need to do and what is your role in the game. It's fundamental for you to stand out, for you to put your name on the map with your leadership, with your department, so you can continue growing in your careers in any company.
Yeah. See, I have always been the person in that meeting that you just spoke about that everybody's mad at because I kept asking the questions, right? And everybody's going, shut up, we want to go, right? No, but I was asking the questions. So I love that answer, because one of my philosophies before I even heard of it is questions are the answers, for sure.
Yes.
And the more questions that you ask, the better answers, and the closer to whatever answers or whatever you're seeking out you get. So I absolutely love that answer. And I love your energy as far as how you went through and dealing with people. It really shows through a lot as to who you are today. And I'm just meeting mostly about you today, but just you explaining your journey of how you went through it and moved up and kind of figured things out, which is a program that we have, it speaks volumes about your character. Jimmy?
Yeah, I'd also like to go back to your response about mistakes. I really appreciate your response. One of the things that we teach is that we believe that for the most part, people do what they do at the time that they do it because they believe that that's the best thing for them to do in that moment. They might know that it's not the right thing to do, but in their mind, they think it's the best thing to do in reaction to whatever the circumstance of that moment is. And so if you have that mindset as a manager, then it allows you to have grace, right? To grant that grace to that person to be able to say, I apologize, I made a mistake. How can I learn from my mistake? And then it gives the manager that opportunity to really work with the person. And I loved your comment about making people feel safe, because making your employees feel safe opens up the lines of communication, right? The safer they are, the more likely they are to talk to you, the more likely they are to enable you to promote their growth, because it opens up those lines of communication. So with that being said, my two questions for you are, what defines a great employee to you? And what are the most important characteristics that makes that person a great employee?
I believe a great employee, Jimmy, is the one that is always trying to do his or her best in everything this person is doing at work, but it's also the person that is hungry to continue learning, to continue growing. And from time to time, we're going to see that person that is just comfortable, but is also doing a great job. And the person just doesn't want to continue growing. That's also okay. We have those people. We need to understand, we need to respect, and we need to stop sometimes pushing them. Hey, I'm going to put you in this seminar. I'm going to put you in this training. I want you to grow. I want you to become a supervisor. If the person is happy doing what the person is doing and is doing a good job, that's exactly what we need. We need people to be happy. We need people to be.
Sorry, I'm distracting you. Sorry.
We need people to be capable, to feel comfortable doing what they are supposed to do.
I love that you're saying that. And that book I was holding up says you can't take a duck to Eagle School.
Yes.
And a lot of times we try to force ducks into Eagle School and they just can't do it. Right? You have to attract that type of a person. You have to attract an eagle in order for them to go. You can't make them do it. So I really value what you're saying right now, because a lot of times, being a leader myself and a corporate manager in the past, we do try to force people into positions and to usher them to a way that we think is best for them, and that may not necessarily be the case. So thank you for that.
With that, we would like to recognize one of our sponsors. We're going to take a quick break, and our sponsor for today is Bank, the Codebreaker program. So let me turn that over, and we'll have a short break.
There's 6,500 foreign languages spoken in the world, but we believe only one language has the power to unite and connect the human race. We call that language BANK. And BANK is a methodology that we created, which is personality based. It's rooted in the principles of the 4 personality types dating back thousands of years, with a very powerful modern day twist that when applied to business and relationship creates extraordinary results.
The number one problem is people want to make more money and they don't know how. So they have a problem actually connecting with their prospect, their lead, their customer, the person across from them. We teach them how to communicate more effectively and figure out their personality type and then how to get a better connection, and it automatically leads when people like you, they want to buy your product.
What we specifically do for our clients is we teach them how to increase their influence, their income, and their impact up to 300%.
It's opened doors that I didn't even know existed. I immediately saw the impact that it could have in education.
Not only has it increased my income, but it has absolutely changed my impact and my influence.
Bankcode is an amazing technology that you can use to find out about other people rather than just yourself. I'm communicating better with my friends, my family, my clients.
Getting to yes sooner, getting to what matters to the person sooner by just listening to what they value.
And really just gave me an opportunity to connect with people in a much different way.
Making it a win-win-win for all the people involved.
It's literally lighting a fire inside of me that I didn't know I had.
And it was really a no-brainer for me.
There's a lot of assessments that are in the market. Ours is unique originally because most every other assessment was based in psychology, whereas Bank was based in what we call biology, spelled B-U-Y-ology, which was the science of buying behavior, or what we now understand as buy-in behavior. It's the science of communication. So it gave us a very unique ability to predict someone's buying behavior in less than 90 seconds, and now in nanoseconds using our Codebreaker artificial intelligence. So if you want to learn more and you want to come join our Make People Matter movement, you want to discover more about yourself and your personality, come visit us at codebreakerglobal.com. Codebreaker Global, make people matter.
Okay. Edwin, I was just wondering, do you have the most story about the most rewarding employee-employer interaction that you had, the time when you were most proud of one of your employees? I know that there's got to be several of them.
I have 2. I'm going to give you one from one of my bosses. I think he was not just the greatest manager I have had in my career, the greatest mentor, but he gave me one of the most important lessons for me to apply with my people in my career. I was having a one-on-one with Peter this day, and sometimes we were talking about work, the metrics, the projects, the progress we were making, the organization, all those things. This specific one-on-one, he said, hey, today we're not going to talk about anything business related. Today we're going to talk about you. And I was super curious. And he just said to me, I want you to think about something you want to learn for you, not for HP, not for the business, not for your career within the company, something for you. Caught me completely off guard. I was not expecting that at all. And he said, you probably don't have an answer right now. Let's pause right here. I'm going to call you back tomorrow. Okay. I was in Costa Rica. He lives in Houston. Boston. Next day, he calls me back and said, do you have an answer for me? And I said, I have an answer and I have a question. My answer is, I would love to learn about photography. Something completely not work related. But I love cameras, I love photography and all that stuff. Now my question for you, Peter, is why are you asking me this? Has absolutely nothing to do with my job. And he says, very simple, He said, because I'm going to pay for that because I know that you're going to grow as a person. And at the same time, you're going to grow as employee. And we're going to see that growth, and we're going to see the performance you're going to put. At the end of the year, I was the top performer of the team. He recognized me. And I told him, I think you were right. The happiness and the level of engagement that grew within me because you paid for my photography training. And I enjoyed that so much that create such a huge level of loyalty and belonging with the company that I just became the top performer of the team for that year. So after that, I went back to a people manager position, and I applied that since day one. And you can almost touch with your hands the changes that people make when you enable them, when you give them that opportunity to grow in any area as a person, and that automatically translates into a better employee, into a top performer, into an amazing career person within the organization. It was so beautiful to see, so beautiful to apply. And I have a couple specifics on that one from people reporting to me. And they just grew and they applied for promotions. In the first round of interviews, the hiring manager just stopped interviewing more people and called me right away. I just interviewed one of your guys. I need to talk to you because I want your person. So we need to try to come out with a transition period like ASAP. And it's so invigorating, it's so energizing when you see that, because that's exactly, as a leader, that should be your goal, to allow your people to grow, to be better employees, to be better persons. Because leaders forget that when they grow in the company, they are also becoming better parents, better sons, better husbands, better wives. So you're affecting them in so many areas. That is unbelievable. And I think that's something we need to recover, and we need to continue teaching our leaders and teaching our people that whatever they do with people is affecting them in just not one area, in multiple areas. But some leaders are just so work-driven, so work-focused, that they forget that they are working with humans that they have their own lives, their own stories, and all of those things. And whatever they do with them or for them is going to also affect them and their families.
Wow.
No, I agree with you 100%, Edwin. I'm just not sure that absolutely 100% that everybody I worked with was human. But I'll leave. I did see the movie Men in Black. I'll leave that there. Jimmy, to you.
Toby, you want to transition into the bridge from HP to an entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I actually do have some questions for him regarding that. So it's not even mostly the bridge, because I think just based off of what you've been saying, just off your energy, just off the way you coach, right? I think that you've gotten, and I'm saying coach, you probably don't think you're a coach. You've never said one thing that you were a coach, but if you're leading teams the way you are and coming out with the philosophies that you're saying, you're coaching regular people on a regular basis, right? Mm-hmm. And I struggle with the fact with helping people understand that we're all coaches, because we're all in a certain level, and we all have people that need to be up to the level that we are. Everybody. It's always coaching up and coaching down, in my opinion. So I appreciate that. I want to ask you, how do you get people to realize that worth, right? Sorry. How do you get people to realize that worth and that mindset of being able to help up and coach down? Because I would put money on it that you're surrounded by that energy?
Yes, and that's a great question also. Wow. Something that I learned from my dad from those years when I was just a little kid and just following him, carrying probably a mirror because he was trying to sell something, is the different ways he used to talk to different people. He had a skill that I think he was very good at transferring to me and my brothers, which is connecting with people in the way that people need to be connected with. I don't know if that's making any sense.
Wait. It makes 1,000% sense. 1,000% sense. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it makes a lot of sense, right? And I'm gonna say it makes a lot of sense because you're naturally speaking to their language without even knowing that there's a science put to that. Yes. So your dad, in my opinion, cracked that code that we are learning how to crack today, probably back then, and instilled it into you guys naturally. Not saying that this is something that you have to do, but just being a part of who he was and trying to sell and talking to people, which is authentic and genuine. Mm-hmm. That skill set was able to blossom, in my opinion. Jimmy.
So let's talk a little bit about the Great Job Handyman then, right?
Of course.
So now you have made that transition. You are an entrepreneur. You've started your own company. You talked about you made a conscious decision not to purchase a company, but to go ahead and start from the ground up and develop your own clientele. Because oftentimes in a service industry, you purchase a company because you have clients that you're going to get. But you were brave enough and self-confident enough to say, I can go ahead and do this on my own. I don't need to pay somebody else for their prior work. It's better for me to go ahead and invest in myself and create my own company and do what I do, right? So what do you attribute the success that you're experiencing in the Great Job Handyman role? And I got to tell you, just based on this interview, just based on your delivery, just based on your responses, I fully intend to go out of my way to make sure that I hire the Great Job Handyman to do some work around my home. I would love to work with you in the future. Furthermore,
you recognizing the gym? Jimmy? Are you recognizing the gym, Jimmy?
Furthermore,
Jimmy, he's gonna charge you the same price he charges everybody else. Okay, you can butter him up all you want, but the price is still gonna be the same.
And I respect that somebody appreciates their own value, so I would expect him to charge me what he's going to charge me.
Yesterday's price
because
is not today's price.
The other thing I was going to comment on is you would be a great speaker with us. We would love to have you come out with us, and if we're going to do a presentation to a company about employee appreciation, have you come and tell your story. I love your delivery. I love your history. I love your story. So we'll talk about that later. So talk a little bit about Great Job Handyman and what you all do.
Well, I think it's a combination of all of the above factors. Something as humans we forget is we are here to learn, but also to share, also to apply what you are learning. And you don't have to wait until you are writing your own book so you can sell it, so you can share what you have learned. Every single day is an opportunity to learn and to share. I think right now, the success that I'm still building, because it's a long journey, it just started this year, is because I'm applying everything that I have learned from my dad, from my family, from my mentors, from the company, from my personal experiences, from my wife also, and my two boys, which are very, very wise kids. And being able to apply that with every single interaction with every single customer. When you discover that you can do that, because we all can, some people just don't realize it, that they can. And that's part of the coaching piece, as you were saying. When you enable people to learn that they can do that, beautiful things happen, and you see them happening every single day. So I think being able to apply all those, to practice everything, and to discover new things every day with new customers, I think is what's building the path that I want to build for my vision, for my family, for the business.
Excellent. Thank you. So we have reached that point of our podcast where we give you an opportunity to tell a little bit about how potential customers can reach out to you. We call this shameless self-promotion. So be shameless about it. Tell us about how wonderful you are and what a great job you can do and how people can get in touch with you.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jimmy. So yes, I love doing what I do right now. I love working with customers. I love being part of customers' projects within the house, or sometimes outside the house, or maybe in the office, repairing things or working on improvements. So we do all that. My website is called greatjobhandyman.com, but people can also reach me to my phone number, which is 855-506-2520. 855-506-2520. And Great Job Handyman. And we also have a little bit of presence that I'm still working on improving in social media, so you can find us there.
Love it.
Kobe.
Yeah, I actually want to just say thank you. I'm absolutely enlightened by your visit with us today, inspired by your visit with us today, which we like to go through transitions as well, right? We like to learn as well, and that's one of the main reasons why I think we show up, is because we get great guests coming in here, and the stories are just phenomenal, and also the potential for collaboration is great and high for us too. But I do want to ask you one question. If you know, we're probably winding down, so if you can give employees one career upgrade mindset to carry into 2026, one career mindset upgrade into 2026, what would it be?
I would say to people that they need to challenge themselves all the time. Learn something new, even if it's unrelated to the specific task or role that they are performing right now. That new learning is going to probably trigger some curiosity for them to look for new career paths, for new ways to continue growing themselves in any way. It could be a professional, it could be personal, it could be family, it could be anything. But I like to tell people, always think about where you are, where you want to be, and try to vision how you're going to get there. And if you don't know the answer, that's what mentors are for. Talk to your mentor. And if you don't have a mentor, ask for a mentor. Talk to your manager, talk to your supervisor, and just tell them, I want to learn new things. Probably is a good time for me to have a mentor.
Yeah.
And we as leaders, that's our job. We provide those mentors to our people.
I love that answer. Jimmy, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to appreciate some of the gems that you left with us in this interview, including, I mean, you made comments about how people are so important, that we are all humans, and that it is incumbent upon us as individuals and as employers to understand that people are simply people, and you need to respect the fact that people are people. I like the fact that one of your gems was to work hard every day, right? Never give up. Just work hard every day, have your goals. You follow that up with follow your dreams. Everybody should have a dream. They should take the time and figure out what their dream is. And the dream can be as simple but difficult as doing the best for your family, right? That can be a very simple dream, just doing whatever it takes to provide a legacy and take care of your family. But it's a very complex process, right? So to establish those dreams, I like your recent comment about challenging yourself. About, you know, it is important for everybody to not become complacent and to challenge themselves. And we all have the capacity to learn something. We all have the capacity to learn more. We all have the capacity to do more. And then the other thing that I got out of you was you have a can-do attitude. In fact, Edwin Chacon might write a book saying the can-do attitude, and because you have a life history that you can share with people and say your can-do attitude took you from a not extravagant environment in Costa Rica in a humble situation and enabled you to, in essence, travel the world. You traveled from South America to North America. You totally transplanted yourself and your family. You came into a new, strange environment. You were able to flourish there. You came out and were guiding 8 people at HP Inc. when they started their division in Rio Rancho.
Yep.
And
learn a new language.
And you grew that to 200 plus. That's a journey, and that's a journey that is inspirational to anybody, right? To just know that somebody can pick themselves up by their bootstraps and get it done, right? That can-do attitude is so very important. I love the fact that you are filled with gratitude, that you appreciate what your parents did, what your mentors did, what HP Inc. did for you. You exude that gratitude, and that creates confidence of others in you. I absolutely trust you. I could have you come into this house and say, Edwin, do what you want with it. And just let you run with it and have an entirely different house. Awesome. So I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for being on our show, for the gems that you've dropped. Great employees do matter, and you understand that. So Lloyd, do you have some parting words for Mr. Chacon?
As I listened to the whole interview and I listened to him talk, underlying everything, and just to summarize what everybody said, I would say it in one word: compassion. And your compassion for humanity, your love of people, it just really comes through every aspect of everything that you've ever done. And I just wanted to say, thank you for that. And Jimmy, you've never told me that I can come into your house and do whatever I want.
I
just wanted to point that out to you, and I've known you a lot longer. But just wanted to point that out. Thank you very much, Edwin. Especially at this time of the year, where the list of people I want to kill grows exponentially. I thank you for reminding me that in all things there is compassion, and we certainly need a lot more of that today. And I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And do you have any last things you want to say before we get out and I close the show, Edwin?
I want to thank you for this opportunity. I had a great time. You guys are awesome. It's been super fun to hang around and talking to you guys. What you guys are doing in the podcast and with your company, it's also amazing. I see the value, and I hope more people can see also what you guys are trying to accomplish. And because we need to. The industry is growing. AI is also disturbing the entire industry in so many different ways that it can be so overwhelming and scary at some point, but also refreshing. But what you guys are doing with the human piece of the entire equation, it's tremendously valuable, and I thank you for doing that. Yeah. And I also want to extend my gratitude to my wife, which is here right next to us, because she has been fundamental for my growth, my career, my learnings. Without her, I don't think I would have been able to accomplish what I was able to accomplish and to be the person that I am today. Same goes to my 2 boys, super wise boys. If you talk to them, you're going to see how smart and how mature they are. I'm super proud of them, of course, and my entire family. I think family is the foundation of everything, and that's something that I also think we need to recover a little bit. Our family roots, our family fundamentals. We need to go back to those basics. But thank you guys for what you're doing. This is the right thing to do. This is putting everybody in the right path. So again, Thank you, crew. You are guys are amazing.
And thank you for your acknowledgement, your appreciation, your recognition of Ginger, of your wife, and of your boys, of the sense of family. It speaks volumes about you. And Ginger, thank you to you for being such a good wife and being that support for Edwin and his endeavors. Your family will definitely benefit from your leadership of the families.
Yeah, Jimmy was crying. That's the only reason why I let him come back in and steal his never mind. You know what? It was great to have you, Edwin, you and your lovely wife. And I want to say the word that comes to me with you is willingness, right? That's an important word in my world, because you grew up in a hard time, right? I feel like our journeys are similar, so I won't repeat exactly what you said, but you were willing to work, you were willing to look at your situation, you were willing to adjust to it, you were willing to move up, you're willing to help. Willingness is the word that I see when I talk to you. So I again thank you for the gems for us and our crew and our audience, and hopefully we'll collaborate. And I'd like to always extend you to be able to come back on the show later on and come back and check in with us, and let's talk about progress and see where we are in the future.
Awesome. Absolutely. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. And with that, this is Great Employees Matter. Every week, 2:00. Come check us out. Come get some gems. Come learn. Come grow. We don't do drama. We don't do crazy. We do authentic and ethical. See you next week. Always be a gem.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.